The second evidence for the evidence of evolution, the second evidence for evolution is anatomical evidence. If you see the structure of the human hand, cats, if you see the structure of the human hand, cat's foreleg, flippers of the whale, or the patagium of the bat, there is no similarity in their structure. They all look very different from each other. According to their functions are also very different to each other. However, when you see the bone structure of all four of them, that is a human hand, cat's foreleg, patagium of bat, and flippers of whale, you can see some similarities between their bone structure and the bone joints in the organs of these animals. This similarity indicates that all these animals have a common ancestor. Now, third proof of evidence of evolution is the vestigial organs. Now, degenerated, underdeveloped, useless organs of organism are called vestigial organs. Means some organs are there in the human body which is of no use at present, and it is sometimes harmful also. The existing organs undergo gradual changes. A specific structure in the body is useful under certain situation. Maybe long years back our ancestors must have been found this organ very useful, but the same structure under different situation, that is in today's situation, become useless or sometimes even harmful. It takes thousands of years for a structure to disappear, so that organs are still there which is of no use to us. It may take still more longer times, it may still take longer time for it to disappear. Such organs, though non-functional in certain organism, it may be non-functional in certain organism, like I'll show you in the example, but the same organ may be functional in other organism. For example, appendix. Appendix is of no use to human being and is sometimes harmful also, but it is useful in animals, ruminant animals. Ear pinna, that is, ear pinna is known as this, ear pinna is useless in human being, but it is useful in other animals like monkey. There are some other examples of vestigial organs like the tail bone. We don't have tail in human being, but the bone is still there. It is known as coccyx also. Wisdom teeth, that is the last teeth which appear at the age of 16, 18. That is also of no use. And body hairs in our body which is present. All these things are present in human body which is of no use to us. Now the fourth one is paleontological evidence. Now due to earthquake, flood and the other calamities which occur on the earth, due to this animals get buried under the ground. After many years, because of this buried underground animals, impression of these animals are left behind, and these impressions are known as fossil. The study of fossil is very important for the study of evolution. Now, as soon as the plants and animals die, the carbon consumption stops. The moment the plants and animals die, the carbon consumption stops. Now, there are two types of carbon, C14 and C12. Now, C14 starts decaying. It starts to decay as the moment the animal dies. But C12 does not decay because it is a non-radioactive substance. So when we take the ratio of C14 upon C12, it does not remain constant. It keeps on changing. This ratio keeps on changing. Why it keeps on changing? Because only C14 is going on decreasing, but the C12 does not change. It remains constant only. Therefore, the ratio keeps on changing because the C14 is keeping on changing. From this ratio, we can find out the time of the death of the plants and animals. Time of the death of plants and animals. Now from this way of finding out the time of the death of plants and animal is known as carbon dating, which was found by Willard Libby. For this he was awarded for this he was awarded a Nobel Prize in the year 1960. Now the age of the materials determined by this method, is found in a journal known as, name of the journal is Radiocarbon. Radiocarbon is the name of the journal which is written by him. In this we can find out the age of the material determined by this method. Determined by this method. Now if you go on digging under the ground, you can find out, as you go on digging, you can find out the fossils also. So if you go deep inside the earth, you will find the fossils of the invertebrate. Now what is the meaning of invertebrate and vertebrate? You will be studying in the lesson number 6 in science 2. So invertebrate are those animals which don't have a vertebral column, that is a long rod-like structure which is present at the back or on the dorsal side. So invertebrates don't have this vertebral column. For examples like the starfish, a snail, earthworm, cockroach, butterfly, scorpion, all this comes under invertebrate. Next, if you go a little bit above that, you will find out the fossils of fish like or aquatic animals. This is known as, it comes under the which class? It comes under Pisces. Next, above that you will find the fossils of frog, that is amphibians. Pisces are the one which lives on the water, frog are the one which lives in land as well as in water. Above this you will find the fossils of reptiles like snake, crocodile and all. Above this you will find the fossils of birds and rabbits and humans. The birds come under the class aves and rabbit and humans come under the class mammals. So from this fossils you can come to know that the first thing which appeared on the earth were invertebrate, and then the vertebrates started appearing on the earth. These all come under vertebrate. So all this comes under vertebrate. Pisces means what? Fishes, that is aquatic animal. Amphibians are what? Frog, which lives on land as well as in water. Reptiles are the one which creeps on the ground like the snake, lizard, etc. And aves, birds come under aves, and rabbits and humans come under mammals. So this is the way the animals appeared on the earth. Once you determine the date of a particular animal, carbon date of a particular animal, particular organisms, you can easily find out the dating of the other animals, carbon dating of the other animals. Now fifth evidence of evolution is what? Connecting links. Now what is the meaning of connecting links? A particular animal which are present today shows a characteristic of two other groups also, like for example duck-bill platypus. So duck-bill platypus shows the characteristics of reptile as well as the characteristics of mammal. Like reptiles, they lay eggs. And like mammals, they have mammary glands. And hair covered on their body. Now what is reptiles? We'll be studying in lesson number 6 all this. So what is reptile? Like snake, lizard comes under reptiles. And what is mammals? Like dog, cat, human, bats, all this come under mammals. So like the duck-bill platypus shows the characteristics both of reptiles and mammal. Like the reptiles, that is snake, lizard, they lay eggs. And like the mammals, they have mammary glands and hair covered on the body. Now next example is Peripatus. Peripatus shows the characteristics of Annelida as well as Arthropoda. What is Annelida? Like earthworm, leech, nereis, etc. And what is Arthropoda? Like cockroach, butterfly and all, it comes in Arthropoda. Like Annelida, it has thin cuticle. What is the meaning of cuticle? That is skin. Then parapodia, like parapodia, organs. that is, these legs are known as parapodia. So they are known as the legs. Legs are known as a parapodia organ. So in Annelida, you can see some animals have this parapodia, and it also has segmented body. That is like earthworm, it has segments on the body. So segmented body. And arthropoda, like the arthropoda, they have open circulatory system. Now, what is the meaning of open circulatory system? In open circulatory systems, the blood and the interstitial liquid or interstitial fluid does not, in the open circulatory system, the blood and the interstitial fluid gets mixed. So in arthropoda, the blood and the interstitial fluid like lymph and all get mixed, but in human beings, the blood and the interstitial fluid does not get mixed. So we have a closed circulatory system, whereas arthropoda has open circulatory system and they respire tracheal respiration. So Peripatus has the characteristics of both Annelida. What is Annelida? Like earthworm, leech, nereis, and also has the characteristics of arthropoda. What is arthropoda? Cockroach, butterfly, etc. Now, like Annelida, it has thin cuticle. What is the meaning of cuticle? Skin, parapodia organs, that is leg-like organs, and segmented body. And unlike this arthropoda, it has open circulatory system and tracheal respiration. What is the meaning of open circulatory system? The blood and the interstitial fluid gets mixed up. Now in lungfish, though it is a fish, so though it is a fish, it breathes through with the help of lungs. So that means it breathes in the air. So lungfish, though it is a fish, it breathes through air. So this is known as a connecting link. So from this we can come to know that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibian. What is the meaning of amphibian? That is like frog, which lives on land as well as in water. So amphibian has evolved from fish, because the frog can live in water also. So amphibians, that is frog, is evolved from fish, and the mammals are evolved from reptiles. I will explain all this duckbill, platypus, peripatus and lungfish with the help of the pictures given on page number 6. So with the help of that picture also you can understand. So I'll explain that once again, the connecting link with the help of the pictures. Fifth evidence of evolution is connecting link. Now what is a connecting link? Some plants and animals show some morphological characters by which they can be related to two different groups, hence they are called connecting link. For example, the first example is peripatus. In peripatus, if you see, it has a segmental body, thin cuticle, cuticle means skin, and parapodia means legs like appendages has in Annelida. These are the characteristics of Annelida, but at the same time it has trachea for respiration and open circulation like in arthropoda. So you can see that there is a connecting link between two groups, that is Annelida and arthropoda. Similarly, the second example is duckbill platypus. If you see the duckbill platypus, they lay eggs like reptile but has hair and mammary glands which and hairs like that similar to mammals. and this shows that there is a connecting link between reptiles and mammals. Similarly, the third example, lungfish. Though fish, it breathes the air through its lungs. This organism point strongly to the fact that mammals have evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fishes. Now, if you study the embryonic developmental stages of various vertebrates, which is given in the picture, shows that all embryos show extreme similarity during the initial stage, that is in the first stage. If you see the first stage, second stage and third stage of the fish, salamander, tortoise, chicken, hawk, calf, rabbit and human, in the first, second and third stage of the embryo, they all look very similar to each other. Shows extreme similarity in the initial stage, and this similarity decreases gradually as it goes into the next stage, which indicates all these organisms have a common ancestor.